A very good afternoon to everyone who has joined the 82nd Small Enterprise webinar series. We have started this webinar series ever since March 2020, and the first 1 year it was a weekly webinar that we have gone. Every week we used to go on a webinar. We later have seen that the trend of webinar has slightly gone on the lower side, and the attendees have got a lot of other options because everything in the market, people can only interact on an online platform. So many offers, many opportunities, so that the entire the opportunity that people take as diluted, and you might have seen the number of people coming are less. Things are getting back to normal now, thanks to whatever situation that we have seen worldwide, the kind of efforts the governments are doing, the medical, the frontliners, the doctors, everyone who has been putting their best to bring this situation back under control. A big thanks to all, and thank to God as well to get to help us get back to normal, and hope this continues and we get back to the previous days where the malls are full, the theaters are full, the hotels are full, everywhere the roads are full, and the economy should go well, and everyone should do well. So, thanking everyone once again who has joined us in today's webinar, e-commerce for SMEs, and let me take this opportunity to thank all our speakers and partners, the GAIN, and all our support ecosystems. There are a lot of SME, associations who are supporting us. Initially, we used to request them. Later, they themselves have taken the initiative to come, on board, by themselves voluntarily and helping us. So we're going to start the session today. Before we start, I'll just make a quick presentation about small enterprise for the benefit of people who have joined newly. And so give me a minute. I will definitely share our presentation today. Hope you all can see this.
Yeah, it's visible. Yeah.
Great. So let me welcome our speakers, Ms. Radhika Kandar, Ms. Kirti Goganti, and Mr. Pradeep Chichani.
Hello.
They are the experts in the e-commerce business, and we are lucky to hear from them. And today's webinar is all about a step-by-step, guide for helping SMEs to know more about e-commerce and take your business to the next level. So the agenda for today's webinar is about the topics that the speakers are going to talk. So after my introduction, Ms. Radhika Shah will be talking about e-commerce, choose an e-commerce platform and to create a website, followed by Ms. Kirti will be talking about market your e-commerce business, how to market your e-commerce business. Very, very important. All these topics are important. And the most important of all is our panel discussion, how to start an e-commerce business for your small businesses. Mr. Pradeep Chichani and Ms. Radhika and Ms. Kirti will be joining us. We have a Q&A session after that, and every query is whatever possible will be taken within the limited time that we have. So thank you all once again. Thank you for our partners who have been supporting our initiative in the past so many years, and also for this last many webinars. Quickly talk about Aspire Media. It's a media house established back in 2009 to help small and medium entrepreneurs to educate them. So it was established in 2009, but the portal, the smallenterpriseindia.com, was established launched in 2010. A portal which definitely helps SMEs to know more about the business, whether it's banking and finance, or technology, or logistics, or marketing, or HR, or anything which they need to know for their day-to-day business. We give all the contents in that. Later, we realized that not only a website is going to help them, they need to know as a printed version, as a monthly magazine. We have revamped our website. The website will look like this. All the contents are there on the top bar. And our subscribers you get a weekly subscription. I mean, newsletter subscription. We have more than 1.5 lakh subscribers right now, and we have a association called the Ask Guru. I mean, it's not an association; it's a part of our own company, a platform where we have more than 35 experts who's got an average of 25 to 30 years of domain expertise, whether it's legal or marketing or project entrepreneurship, engineering, anything. So you ask a question on Ask Guru platform, you get an answer within 24 hours. And if you need further, you will be taken on a consultation on a very, very nominal fee compared to what you have in the market. So you can ask a question and will be answered within 24 hours. So you can see, you can meet the experts, you can go to the Ask Guru page of a website, meet them, go through the bios, understand their key areas, and probably you can choose whom you want to meet and discuss with. Magazine is a monthly magazine which has got a theme every month. So it'll be more interesting when I come to the editorial calendar part. You'll understand more. Every month has got a subject, a kind of a theme which has more elaborate, content, and that can be an educational, content for them to take their business forward. Our target audience are SMEs, startups, not only the what you call the metros. We go to Tier 2, Tier 3, and the rural segments. Our magazines are designed. You can see every month. Let's say you have technology for small business, or how to grow from small to big, future workplaces, marketing, women in business, banking and finance, logistics. Every subject is being covered every month in detail as much as possible. So we have various platforms, online, small enterprise, for SMEs. The Aeonian, which is a startup platform. We have a magazine, print and digital. We have a startup on the SME awards every year. We have a business club. We have email marketing, campaign surveys, industry events, and also consulting for SMEs and startups. The magazine is available on Geo and Maxter. Geo has got more than 250 million Prime subscribers. So a magazine has got more than 55,000 downloads every month. Even though it has gotten access to so many, most of them are not entrepreneurs, but most of the entrepreneurs has Geo as one of their SIM, so they get an access to this app. Again, the editorial calendar I was talking about, the magazine. Every month there will be a specific topic which can be of help to, let's say, future workplaces or startup essentials or franchise or manufacturing, anything. I mean, logistics, SME, business insurance, or women in business. Every publication has got more than 60% of the magazine covering this topic. So it becomes a collective for every entrepreneurs. Magazines are now available in most of the IITs, IIMs, and a lot of institutions in their libraries. And we are now going to most of the universities wherever there is an entrepreneurship. Plus, a lot of SMEs are getting this. All our webinar partners will get this copy free. And we're trying to reach out as many SMEs across the country. There are more than 60 million SMEs in the country, so it is physically impossible, but we are trying to reach who can read and benefit out of this magazine. The consulting, as I told you, we have more than 35 experts on board, and we do take consulting based on the requirements. And initially, it could be a free consultation, and then, if required, they can take up as a paid and a very nominal fee. So we can help them as well. So we're very glad to inform that we got an award last month for being a platform helping entrepreneurs across the country for the last 13 years. It was awarded in Kochi, the leading TV platform. And so this is a kind of a small recognition for us, so we're quite happy about it. This is the last publication, Digital Transformation. So this has made us think that we should go now create a drive on digital platform to help SMEs transform as a business. So we will be going, all entrepreneurs will get this magazine, and we will be going on a major campaign across the country. It's going to be a 30-city SME roadshow starting from June to August. We are in touch with our partners. It's called the Small Enterprise Digital Transformation Drive. You'll get to know more information soon about this campaign, and everyone will be informed when we come to your city. So thank you for watching attending today's webinar. Let me now introduce our speakers and take this webinar forward. So I would like to invite a first speaker, Ms. Radhika Kandar. Ms. Radhika is an e-commerce technology leader. As a technology leader, Radhika has worked with global clients from various domains in helping them build their e-commerce platforms from scratch. Having worked on services as well as product side, it has given her a holistic view of various industries and consumer requirements. Technology is meant to achieve business targets. Keeping that in mind, she has always kept business needs at top while finding the best technical solutions. So let's welcome Radhika on the topic, choose an e-commerce platform and create your website. Over to you, Radhika.
Thank you, Rolo. Thank you very much for the kind words. Hi guys, Radhika here, and today we'll be speaking about how we can marry our business with the technology and how to choose a platform that will actually help us achieve our goals, right? Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can see. Again, we can see that.
All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. So we're going to talk about choosing what is right for our business. All right. So whenever we think about selling online, right, the first question is what are our options available? And right now, the most boom is about marketplaces. You can sell on Amazon, you can sell on Flipkart, Meesho, IndiaMart. There are so many options available to sell your products on marketplaces. This selling your products on marketplaces actually avail you to save a lot of costing, as well as at the same time, you do not have to think about what policies to have, how to structure the business, because that is already there on the marketplace. What you have to think about is how you're going to operate and how you're going to put in your efforts into operations, right? But at the same time, they charge you for selling your products, and you actually do not get to understand how your or the customer that you are actually targeting, how their journey is, what they are exactly doing on the website, right? So this is the analytical part of it that we actually cannot measure always on the marketplace, right? So what is the next option? The next option is having your own e-commerce platform, your own website. It helps you control everything. You can create your own branding, you can control or you can see, analyze your customers, your data, right? Again, it comes with a cost, but yes, of course, it actually creates a brand and allows you to go into market with a boom, right? The other thing is, why not have the best of both worlds? You can actually have your own website and sell the same products on any marketplace. Correct? Now, let's see what are the essential factors that you have to look into when you are actually creating your e-commerce platform. The first and foremost thing is to sit and derive the objectives. What are your needs when it comes to an e-commerce platform? What your business needs and what is the customer that you are going to serve to is looking forward to, right? So that is when you actually derive a proper objective and then go ahead in the market to research about the e-commerce solutions that are readily available, right? With that, we have to look at few things like how scalable it is, what kind of themes they are providing, how people nowadays do not like to wait, right? So we need to also look at how how the performance is, how fast it is, what kind of technology they are using, and how secure they are, right? We'll discuss more about it going ahead. Also, you have to look at the cost. First thing we have to do is derive or define the cost that we are interested to put into this, right? After that, whatever the e-commerce solutions that actually suffice our objective, we need to identify, we need to compare, we need to evaluate the one that is nearest to our objective and cost, and then decide on which one to select. The options available for e-commerce platforms, there are plenty of options available. You can build your own website, your own e-commerce platform. The plus point is that you can actually have only the things that you want. Also, you can customize it according to your need. The flip side of it is that you have to build from scratch. It is time costly. It's costly in terms of money and time both. And you need to have your own development team to do this. The other options that are available are traditional option platforms, open source platforms like Magento, Hybris, BigCommerce. So what happens with these are you either buy an annual fee, you pay an annual fee by a license, and you can develop your custom requirements above and over it. The open source ones allow you to use the existing open code that is available to everyone. Your team, your development team can actually build on that. With these kind of options, the one thing that we have to take care of is our DevOps. That is how we are going to host these, right? We need to have our hosting system. A solution to that is cloud platforms. Cloud platforms actually allow you to use the open source or traditional platform. Also, make sure that all your hosting and all your deployment upgrade cycles are taken care of, right? The next option is SaaS platforms. SaaS platforms are basically for those who do not want to invest much, want to actually research the area or the customer base first, understand how it is going. We do not want to invest much here. With SaaS, what we have to do is it is just a plug and play. You decide you pay monthly fees to use a code that is available, and hooray, in a month you are ready to go on production. What are the features that we have to look at when we choose an e-commerce platform? Right now, accessibility for your website is the must. So mobile first. Every UI, UX have to be, or your website need to be mobile first. Your website, your application should be available on each and every platform that is accessible, right? That's where you have to check the e-commerce platform that you're choosing is actually sufficing this need or not. The other part is you need to have personalizations. Nowadays it's not hello, and we need to feel that we are connected to the e-commerce platform. They are actually trying to sell us. That's where the personalization comes. So it has to have capabilities to connect with the customer, have to have the capabilities to actually analyze the data, right? At the same time, it should be able to market your products in a very effective manner, should have SEO contents, should also have reporting systems and scalability, right? Scalability is very much important. Maybe today, when you start, you have only 100 customers, but when you are looking at future, let's say 5 years down the line, you have more than 1 lakh customers a day, right? A e-commerce platform, when you first decide on it, it should be able to scale to the number that you are looking ahead in the future, right? The latest technologies, it should always support the latest technologies, or there should be upgrades or new versions available, right now the headless e-commerce is the latest technology, and it is so amazingly allows you to detach your front end and your back end. You can use the back end for your any of your application, your website, and the front end can be anything that you want, right? So this is how the latest technologies help you derive more, scale more, and reach out to the customers or the ways that you're looking at. How to avoid the common mistakes that we make while choosing the platform? The biggest mistake is thinking that this technology is there since years. It's reliable. Let's just go ahead with that. You're right, it is reliable, but sometimes these technology actually become lethargic. They are just a legacy system which creates or have a lot of heavy loading that makes your website slow, that makes customization sometimes impossible, right? What we need right now is to quickly absorb, adapt, and create new stuff on what is there, what is already existing. So we have to choose a technology that helps us achieve this, a technology that keeps growing, that keeps making itself, updating, available, easy to use, right? We also have to choose our infrastructure very smartly. It has to be so adaptive that from a day, starting of the day, there are 0 customers, but you have a sale, you have a marketing campaign, and it just shoots to 1,000. right? Your infrastructure should be able to support this. So that's how smartly we have to choose our platform. We should not be going ahead with the all the features that are available on a SaaS based or an open source platform. We have to define and derive what we really want and remove the other features that are already existing. All right. Also, must thing is there is always a hidden thing, right? You have to take care of the hidden costs. Make sure that before starting you think about the maintenance, upgrade, the improvements that you're going to make, right? Because UI, UX and improvements are the thing that keeps coming. So you have to be mindful of all of these things beforehand and make sure that all these hidden things are open in front of you and you are able to calculate that properly. I'll end this with just one line that says, the best e-commerce platform is the one that helps you achieve your objectives and not the one that is popular. That is it from my end, guys. Anyone, any questions?
Uh, Thank you, Raj. Quick, wonderful presentation, actually. We will have a Q&A session towards the end,
Sure.
so that we have time for all the speakers to
Right.
speak. We have few inquiries, questions that has come up, but I think we'll address towards the end. So thank you, Radhika, for this insightful presentation. Really appreciate. So next, I would like to welcome Ms. Kirti Kongati. She is the performance marketing manager at e-commerce at Duroflex. Kirti has earned over 10 years of experience in Google advertising, Amazon advertising, LinkedIn, Facebook, got profound knowledge in advertising platforms such as Google Search Networks and Display Network, mobile, Google Analytics, Amazon Marketing Services. She is one of the best, probably you can hear from regarding marketing of your e-commerce, and the topic is how to market your e-commerce business. So let's welcome Ms. Kirti. Kirti, over to you.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Dosho, for those words. Yeah. And thanks, Radhika, for the wonderful presentation. So I'll just present my screen. Just one sec. Is my screen visible?
Yes, as it's visible.
Great.
Kirti.
Great. So, sure. So, so before I start, like, why do we have to market our e-commerce business? Because if you see, when you go ahead on Amazon or Flipkart or any other your favorite app, when you start typing for your favorite, say apparel or anything, so you see lakhs of products showing up. So it's really important how you market your business. So definitely, if I ask someone, from the audience, guess what is this? So few definitely will say it's a gown, few will say it's a party dress, few will say it's a women apparel. So likewise, we have to gauge the mentality and also the sensitivity of the customers, like what exactly they are looking for. And as a brand, when you want to step into the e-commerce, you should have a mission and vision, like what exactly we are doing it, why did we maybe a few of the sellers or the few of the people around us are selling good on the offline platform and they want to scale it up to the online. Definitely you have to understand this, like what's our mission, like what is our USP, so how am I differentiated from my rest of the competitors, and what is the vision of the company. So maybe say this financial year I have to have a target of, like, say, have to sell 1,000 units per day. So that could be a vision and mission combo. So any e-commerce seller who wants us to get onboarded on these kind of platforms like Amazon, say Flipkart, you should have a mission, a quarterly basis. I could say you should have a roadmap clearly defined for you guys. Like it's not like you just list your products and immediately you'll see some traction building out. So you have to slowly step on step understand your customers and grow ahead. So for that, you have to understand your brand first. So start with your mission and vision, like why, what is our company all about? Then what is the brand purpose? Why does our company exist? So what is it? Like we wanted to be a unique service providers for say apparel category because we are using some sort of like organic material in it. So define your USPs really wider. Shout a lot on all these social media platforms. Say it. What are our USPs all about, so that the customer loyalty will be definitely there with us, and there will be eventually conversions also coming in, and we will be definitely profitable. Then define your values, like it's not marketing does include all these. And if you see Amazon, as an ex Amazonian, I probably have learned this from Amazon, like customers obsession. So that is should be your primarily goal on the values when you put in something. Like customer is your god, like even if it is offline or online, because of them we are minting money. So any sort of disturbances which you feel, put yourself into the shoes of the customer and do a complete part, the journey of the customer part as well. So you have a mutual respect. These kind of, this is just a tips, to avoid disturbances when you are marketing or when you're listing on these kind of e-commerce platforms. So just engage a lot with your customers. Stay active, stay proactive, focus on their requirements, conduct online surveys, which I'll be discussing in the further slides. So have the qualitative products. So we can have multiple quantity of products. Definitely the quality is something each and every customer looks for. This we have to have a brand personality, like okay, for example, if I take some brand like Apple or any other huge brands, so they are ahead of all the local brands, and they endorse a lot of themselves. Like what is the uniqueness of they use iOS, so that's not a something which we can get in the normal mobile phones. So that's how you have to stand, be like a out of box company to endorse yourself as well. So you have to have a voice, like have a unique words, engage a lot with the customers, uh, try to build a great bonding between you and directly the customer, because at the end of the day it's the customer who is purchasing our product. So when it comes to marketing options, so when you are active on platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, Paytm, now Meesho, so and Myntra as well. So Amazon does have its own marketing tools. It has own, as Flipkart also has its. But it's quite important for us to keep a budget aside for these marketplaces, these ads. Reason being is we always have to focus on two things when advertising or when listing the product. So your product should have a great discoverability. So what I mean with the discoverability is, suppose say I am manufacturing a t-shirt, men's t-shirt. So what if I am manufacturing, my USPs are good, my pricing point is also really nice, and I can compete with like thousands of the sellers existing on Amazon platform. But what if my product is not discoverable by the people? So I have to really target the relevant audience. So, and here the word relevancy is also quite important, because most of you might have heard the relevancy is really a important factor in the Google ads. So whenever you see, the quality score is getting low because of the relevancy. So always focus on the relevant audience, but never, step out of the relevancy. Like if someone is searching for shoes, try to endorse yourself for your apparel. But having said that, if we are manufacturing both the products, then we can do a upsell, but not, don't invest or don't waste your money accumulating and getting more of the irrelevant audiences. So we can leverage all the platforms, and especially nowadays youth, and also my parent generation, everyone are active on Facebook and Insta. So why not we make use of those and try to create lots of interactive sessions with them, quiz with them, like what exactly they are looking for. So because once we understand the pulse of the customers, it's then only we can build a great audiences, and we can do a great retargeting or remarketing as well. So so Facebook and Insta ads. So I was just saying, like, engage a lot with relevant audiences, take surveys like what exactly they are looking for, create some buzz, like what's going to come. For example, recently when I was looking out for many of the products, yeah, they are like, okay, it will reveal soon, but what it is, we never knew what it is. So that's for some XYZ company I was just looking through. So create some buzz across the platforms, like, okay, something is gonna come, but everyone should be curious to know what's the next product we're gonna launch. So build that kind of curiosity across all the customers. Engage a lot, give some freebies, give some takeaways, because the reason being is that's the only way where we can communicate and where we can get so much attached with the customers. And as an online business, as an e-commerce business, it's not like directly we can talk to all the customers, millions of customers, but only through these sort of gamification, or these sort of promotions will keep us very much touched with them. Then e-commerce marketing plan. So as I said, Amazon, Flipkart, they have their own tools to you know advertise a lot on these platforms. So I would recommend, yeah, start with a slow, understand your product first. It's like, do a thorough competitor analysis. It's not like just immediately be listed and we have to start the ads. So understand your product. What is your USP? Is my listing correctly available on the Amazon portal or Flipkart portal? If so, what are my images look like? Do I have high resolution images? Do I have videos added? Do I have all these the main factors which Amazon and Flipkart ask us to do? Then followed by have a good research. Use the external tools, like for marketing. Also, we have n number of new, extensive external tools for these platforms like Celix, Helium 10, uh, Jungle Scout for Amazon. So we have multiple platforms wherein we can leverage all these tools to get a couple of keywords. So keywords will be the heart of any marketing. So keywords which are like a customer query, which are the heart and soul for our. So definitely engage with more and more tools to get a good sort of converting keywords. Invest on those keywords to get a more and more profitability. Then marketing on internet, so definitely have these goals a lot. Like initially focus on driving a great brand awareness. So if you're new to the platform, and it will definitely take at least 3 to 4 months, or depending on your product as well, 3 to 6 months, to get a great traction of the products, and also the brand building activity should be taken very seriously. Because I often see people start listing on Amazon, on the second day they start assuming or waiting for the orders to pour in. So it's not like that. So it definitely, the good things take some time to happen. So you have to focus on that to drive traffic. So apart from Amazon, Flipkart, try to drive traffic a lot from Google Ads. Take advantage of Facebook and Insta ads. Keep engaging, and also have a great Twitter account, and post something interesting, which conveys to about your product. For example, I work for a mattress company, so we talk more about the good sleep, so how good sleep helps. So similarly, if you are into the apparel category, so talk more about like your product. What is the USP of your product? If it's soft cotton, so what is the advantages of wearing cotton during summers? So what is the best to wear in during the winters? So give some sort of tips to the customers also, which feel them, yeah, this is a trustworthy brand, and reach the relevant audiences. So never you know um, stop yourself or restrict yourself, like, okay, only I have to endorse only to this particular people who are of high community or so. But no, never stop that. So just start engaging with your audiences and market successfully. So keep aside a budget. So initially start with a less budget, because then only you will make a corrective decisions, like what exactly you are planning to get it and what it is. Then gradually you'll see a great sale increase on your for your product. So this is SWOT analysis, which you have to start, initially when you are onboarding, or when you want to start with your marketing thing. So know your strengths, of course, your weakness, and the opportunities where all we can endorse ourselves. So definitely, it's really important because there are n number of people with the talent, but those who market themselves only will be succeeded. Similarly, there will be n number of the sellers across the world as well on across India, but those who advertise correctly will be on the first page. And during the research also, what we have came to know, it's very minimal people who go to the second page also. So always try to be on the first page, to say it organically or say it via the ads, but please be on the first page. So start advertising, start investing on it, and also have a good SEO research done, and also have a good SEO build up for all your listings as well. And threads, just have a good understanding on what can be your threat. Like, is it the loss of the staff, or is it the competitors killing your share of voice? Just have a quick and good thorough analysis on all these parameters. Then this is more about like market analysis. Like if we are into a particular category and we want to onboard on Amazon or Flipkart or any other e-commerce tools, just do a deep analysis. Use the tool, like multiple tools like Helium 10, the Jungle Scout, and others which I have shared earlier. So these tools will give you a great understanding about the market share value. Like what is the share value of particular category? Say if I'm into mask category, face mask. So because of the COVID, everyone are wearing the face mask. So if you want to launch a cloth mask, so do a thorough research, like what is the monthly, the revenue generated for these masks. So which are your key competitors? Which is the highest selling product? What is the selling price? So, and also apart from these, try to be more active and give like coupons, discounts, deals, and try to engage with your customer. So if you want to have some sort of engagement, definitely you have to give some additional discount and keep the customer like stay loyal to our brand. So these kind of a strategy which I personally follow. So I have just jotted down all this e-commerce marketing strategy. For example, as I say, market analysis. So even if you're quite new to e-commerce and you want to start your own business, do a thorough research on the product. So we have multiple tools online available now to do a good product research, like which product can give you a great return on investment, and also which product can give you a least return on investment. So invest on those market research tools and have a market analysis. Post that the creatives. And nowadays we have to personally stay connected with the with the customers. So for that, definitely the creatives and the content matters a lot. So even if there is a small mistake, it's like these days during, especially it's in digitalization days, so definitely it has a huge impact on each and every word what we say on internet. So be cautious, have a great interactive creatives, and build it and endorse yourself, and brand yourself greatly. And try reaching out, because Amazon and Flipkart are the portals wherein we don't have much options of targeting. So definitely I would suggest use Google ads and Facebook ads to reach the relevant audience. For example, your presence is only at Delhi, for example. So Delhi, so you can target only Delhi people, and you can just exclude rest of the India. So use those kind of levers to get more traction from Delhi people, and create the ads finally. Post ad creation also, I would like to give a tip, like immediately as soon as you create a campaign or create an ad, you'll not see a great traction coming. Have patience. Definitely I would recommend, please, ne- um, across any digital marketing platforms, I mean, once you create any campaign, ideally you have to give it time to settle it down. The ideal time would be 2 weeks. Then only take a corrective decisions and don't make multiple changes in between, so that the campaigns will be always in learning and it will never be in a saturation stage. So any questions? Yeah, we can take it at the end. Yeah, thanks, Rocha.
Thank you, Kirti. Wonderful presentation, in fact. Simple, easy to understand. So hope there are a lot of queries coming in. So we'll definitely share this with our speakers, and probably you could answer them. So thank you very much. And Next is our very important session that we are getting in the panel discussion. I would like to invite all three of you, but Mr. Pradeep Shashani will be one of the lead participants in this. So I would like to introduce Mr. Pradeep and also invite Ms. Radhika and Ms. Kirti to this panel discussion session. So Mr. Pradeep Chachani is an e-commerce consultant. He comes with over 20 years of experience in the retail, with demonstrated history of working in various retail and also in the industry across food and fashion categories, skilled in business planning, management and optimizations, strategy execution, budgeting, operations management, and with profit and loss in e-commerce and omni-channel, various aspects. So he's an expert in the industry. So let's welcome him, and he's going to be on our panel. He's one of the lead panelists at today's panel discussion. So welcome, Mr. Pradeep. I also welcome the other speakers for today's session. So thank you all. So this is a key session for today's webinar. As we all know, this is a hot topic, and the topic is how to start an e-commerce business for small businesses. We heard from Ms. Radhika and Ms. Kirti about the choosing of a website and the marketing part. Now we are going into the nitty-gritties of how to start, how to take it to the next level, even if you have an existing one. The e-commerce industry is exploding, and the brick and mortar stores that temporarily closed may not open again. Shopping online used to be a convenience and a luxury, but now is it a necessity? E-commerce has been growing for a while, and the numbers below, the show don't account for the events or leading to an increase in e-commerce. Let's say in 2014, the overall global retail e-commerce sales was about 1.4 trillion. In 22, it came to 5.7 trillion, and it's estimated to grow at 6.8 trillion in 2023. So let me ask the first question. And the whole idea is many SMEs still want to know how to start an e-commerce business. And the existing ones, as I said, they want to know how to scale it up further. So let me ask the first question to Mr. Pradeep. As a first step to start an e-commerce business, why should we need to conduct a research? I believe doing an e-commerce first, people should do some research to do something in that field. What product, whether it suits or whatnot. Most of the SMEs just blindly start a business. But is there a need of research on e-commerce business model? Can you give some insight into this?
Well, am I audible?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Yeah. So I think number one, e-commerce business should be treated like any other business, right? So how we approach any other business, we look at the opportunities, we look at the profitability, we look at the competition. I think the same applies for e-commerce as well. Let's get that funda right. So when I'm going to launch an e-commerce business, I'm going to look at how compatible is my product or the service that I'm offering. Is it e-commerce friendly? How is it performing in the e-commerce arena? How my competition is performing there, and across how many platforms, what are the margins that we get in the process, so on and so forth. So that's the number one thing, the product and the service compatibility onto the e-commerce platform of business, whether that's good, bad or ugly. That's one thing that one should map. I think second thing is whether I'm going to gain more business out of launching myself in e-commerce. Am I going to inorganically grow my customer base, or I'm just going to cannibalize my existing customer base? That's the second aspect that one should look at. That's the second research that one should do. Third is one has to look internally into the organization. I think like Kirti mentioned, what is the organization capability in terms of in terms of the talent that you have. Will that talent be able to suffice the e-commerce demand of talent which is required? Uh, or do you outsource the same? So generally, what people do is what new businesses do is that they outsource this e-commerce bit, and once the volume grows, then they try to grow the talent pool in house. Next is whether I have the funds to actually launch into e-commerce or no, and for how long it's going to sustain. I think both Radhika and Kirti mentioned that it will take some time for the traction of the customer to come when a product or a service is launched in e-commerce. So whether that do we have the funds to actually sustain that timeline? That's the third thing. And I think last thing will be what e-commerce model suits us the best. Model or a SOR, a sales on return model. What is the best model which is for? So in terms of, I would say it's the product or service capability, how compatible it is to e-commerce. Second is, will I be able to gain more business? Will I be able to gain more customers? That's the second. Third is, I look inward into my organization capability and my financial capability. And last is, I will look at what e-commerce model suits me the best. I think this is the more or less this is the research that I will do if I have to launch an e-commerce business.
Great. Since you have told about doing a research on this, and do we need to do a kind of a specific or a niche uh, market research, or can I randomly start any business? Because this is, as Kirti was saying, the moment you start a e-commerce site, don't expect orders to pour in. That is because you have not done a proper research. You just think, okay, I have a product, I want to sell it. Okay, I'll start my own, whatever online, whatever knowledge, little knowledge I have. Then you end up not getting anything, and you get, desperate, and probably you end up closing that site or the business eventually. So, is there a need for a niche research? Question
Well,
is to Mr. Pradeep. Yeah.
yeah. See, it purely depends on the pocket, right? So one can do a mass launch, right? But generally, I would say 99.99% of the businesses start with the niche, right? So a niche research is necessary. Uh, so so people have to recognize the strength and has to build on that strength. So whether that strength is a product or whether that strength is a service, right? Build on that strength, recognize that niche, and then build on that niche, and then you can expand. Once you have the customer coming to your site, coming and buying your product, then it's just a concept of share of wallet. Then you just get into the business and see how much you can extract from that particular customer. That's about it.
Great. So that's quite clear. Thank you very much. And next is the question is to Ms. Kirti. Why do you need to validate target market and product ideas? Is it required to validate the target market, and why is it required? If you could throw some light on that.
Sure, Dojo. So definitely, yeah, it is required, to understand your audience first. So for that purpose, we can utilize the tool. Facebook is one of the best, available market, the tool which we can use to understand market trust. What is the reach all about? Because it's not like if we start advertising or before understanding our market itself, if we go aggressively into the market, it's like we are just banging our money. So we will not get any returns, or it's like a loss for the company as well. So the best part is always after having a great research on your product, wisely invest on it. So wisely invest means, but never, take a step backward to stop investing on your relevant audience. So always relevancy comes first. So ensure, like, whenever someone is really searching for your product, and if relevancy matters, yeah, definitely please endorse yourself a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Kirti. The next question is again to Mr. Pradeep. Um, Now, anyone can buy a domain and start a business, an online business. I mean, there are a lot of domain providers across the world. Do I need to make my e-commerce business legal? And if at all, what are the formalities, or how do I do it? Make my business legal?
No, of course, it's always advisable to make your e-commerce business legal. So steps are simple. I think you just need to register your business. You need to pick your store name, get the relevant business licenses and permits. Uh, Important is that you find your right vendors. So vendors who are also legally doing business. Uh, you don't want to get caught in that in the GST link, right? A lot of peoples are getting inquiries from GST because some vendor has not paid GST, or some chain link is broken in between. So you need to find the right vendors. It's better to have a logo, created, right? Register that as well, and just get visual. I think uh, color the brand, do the imagery, have those customer friendly fonts. So and try to register all of this as far as possible. I think that's what my advice would be.
Thank you about that. So, Ms. Radhika, probably you could throw some light on how do I create an online store? I mean, okay, now I have got the domain, I bought everything, a great opportunity. I've done all my, the initial things to set up the business. I know my market, everything is done. So now, how am I going to create an online store? I mean, that's something which I don't know, because all this while I was doing a physical store. Now, how do I do a physical, I mean, online store?
So, once you have your logo created, your brand name there, right, you need to register a URL, right? You need to actually register something that is very relevant to you and your product and your market, right? Post that, we need, so right now, it's more or less about how you're able to connect to the customer. So after registration, the URL and domain registration, you need to go ahead and identify what kind of user interface you want to create. It has to be very catchy. Now, there are UI UX experts that actually are able to derive these after looking at the kind of clientele that you have, the kind of product that you have, and what are your niche, what are your USPs and your niche. According to that, we can actually derive a very amazing UI UX. Post that, I think the first thing would be, after you are done with all of this, your UX is there, your interface is ready, your development is done. First thing is that you yourself need to actually go there. Before going on production, you need to check whether the website or the platform that you have created is exactly the way you want it. Your customer would want it, right? So go check it. Just check each and every profile that you have created, products, and once you are satisfied with that, when you know that your customer are going to like it and they're going to come back to this, then release this on production. After release on production, it doesn't stop there, Dojo. We actually need to start marketing. We need to see, what our customers are needing, how my platform can support the SEO and marketing. You need to trigger emails. You need to keep them engaged. You need to tell them that, this is new. This is what you have bought. And, in the same category, I have something new for you. Or maybe, your product is shipped. You're going to get it in 2 days, 3 days. You need to keep them engaged. They need to feel like you care for them, and they need to come back to you to buy something else again, right? So that connectivity is important. At the same time, you can do cross sells, upsells. There are a lot of retargeting methods available. So I think all of these platforms, they support all these requirements more or less. So that's how you start. you go ahead and you have to make sure that your post-sale, services are also upright, and you're able to
Great.
connect to your customers after that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you very much, Ms. Radhika. So the next is to Ms. Kirti. You are a marketing expert. Now, once the online stores, everything is done, how am I going to attract people? Where are these souls? Where do I search for them? How do I make money? I mean, all said and done, finally, I need to start making money. How do I attract these people? If you're at the physical store, I can put my neon outside. I can have someone standing outside, building, a waving hand, all those traditional ways. But then here it's online. I don't know who is looking at where, which there are trillions of websites over the world now. So how do I stand out and get people come to my store out of this entire mad rush on the web?
Right. So for that, yeah, definitely we do have online marketing platforms like Google. Apart from even if you are live on like Amazon, we have our own brand store page created on Amazon. So we can definitely drive traffic from the external sources also, like from Google, Facebook. We can use the source tag and we can create a lot of buzz across, and we can drive the traffic to our store pages, which will give a lot and lots of information about the our categories, say our products and everything. So definitely that's one. And utilize the platforms to our core, like as a new seller, we can say onboarded on the platforms. Definitely we have to endorse and spend a lot initially to create a buzz, and also the brand awareness initially. So slowly our focus should be on getting the product sold. So we have to continuously optimize the product as well. So I am personally saying, like, initially for a month, say it's don't look after the return on investments, because this happens to me a lot. Like, as soon as they onboard with us, they say, okay, go, and I want to see where are my sales coming from. No, I don't see any sales. I don't want to do any marketing stuff. So imagine, I have worked with a footwear company wherein it has a great presence offline, but as soon as he onboarded online, he wants to compete with, like, existing 100 sellers, but he doesn't want to market a lot. Even if he market, he's like, every day he'll sit and he'll say, oh my god, my a cost, I mean, people, we measure by that metrics. So they say, oh my god, my a cost is really shooting up, and I see my ROAS, or the return on investment, is really low. But I would say have patience. Yeah, definitely. And now, post, all the conversations with him, and he understood digital marketing is not that easy how it seems like. You just see an ad on Google, or you just see an ad on Amazon, but to get that ad on those placements, it's really tough for a digital marketer to work upon. So definitely have patience, but have a great content. So content plays really a vital role, especially on platforms like Insta and Facebook. Amazon and Google definitely search related, and when you are focusing more on your sales, then invest more on your platforms like Amazon, Flipkart, and Google. So that's what I would suggest. How to market yourself, and you can get in contact with the respective POCs on Amazon, Flipkart, Facebook, and Google also. Even we have a great learning centers, learning courses also, and who will also give you a hands-on experience, like what exactly to advertise and how to do it. So yeah.
Right. That was quite interesting. We are getting into the last question of our panel discussion. Uh, it's very easy to listen to all those things. Now, coming to the legal or compliance and the early research, what we have done, market validation. Is there a real business plan required? Because most of the SMEs, the question is now, to Mr. Pradeep, a business plan. Like, for example, most of the SMEs, they don't have they're not having an organized way of doing business or getting into a new project. They just go based on their guts. A business plan is what is required to do any successful business, whether it is short term or long term or any kind of a project. You need to see what the market has to offer, what is the competition like, whether I'm in a niche. So, what do you have to say on this? Is a business plan required, or it's a domain? If I'm going to make money and make money, otherwise it's going to be a kind of a throw in the dark or whatever it is. So I don't want to lose at the same time. Maybe there are some short-term goals. I mean, this is a season, and you can only make during that season. It could be a festive season, or it could be something. But whatever the product is, it has to have a long-term vision. You need to really ensure that your business is successful. How do I ensure? Do you need a business plan? Or what is a business plan about? Can you just throw some light into it?
See, it's always good to have a plan. That way you think through all scenarios. So, in fact, uh, uh, tomorrow being a Sunday, I'm going for a movie with my wife. So we have planned it out, right? We have booked tickets. Uh, we want to have lunch at a certain restaurant. So all the things have been planned out, and we are hoping that it'll take about 4 or 5 hours for us to spend there, and then we'll come back, right? So its business plan is as simple as a plan you create in your day to day life as well. So it's what you need to add to the business plan is a flavor of a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. So that if things really move well, then what is it that you have to gain? And if things do not go well, it goes southwards, then what is the worst case scenario? What is it at stake? What is the risk uh, attached to it? Uh, so that's why the plan is very important, and a plan will contain nothing but you know uh, your map the entire supply chain, how the product is going to flow, where is it going to come from, how are you going to take orders, pick, pack, dispatch, how will it reach the customer, how is the customer loop going to come, the feedback loop, if there are returns, product feedback, service feedback. That's the entire loop that you need to create. Map it to a financial management thingy where you have the P&L worked out, your cash flows worked out, right? So what are the margins at play, and how much are you gain if so many customers come? How much are you going to lose if so many customers do not come? Right, that's the kind of plan. And last is I think an inventory management uh, plan as well, where you plan out your inventory. What is the range that you are going to offer? So what is the requirement of the working capital that you need to invest to build that range? How are you going to present each and every SKU on the site, and when it reaches to the customer? And yeah, I think these are the basic things that you need to build in a plan.
Thank you, Pradeep. I think we have given a very short but very interesting, um, uh, insight into today's panel discussion: how to start an e-commerce, what is the basic requirements, and whether it's a niche or it needs to do you need to make it legal, all those things. I mean, this is the way. I mean, within this 1.5 hours we can't go much in detail, but I think it's very clear. I mean, the entire attendees today got an idea about how to start off their e-commerce plan. But anyway, as usual, more of our webinars, there are a lot of questions that the attendees ask. So now we are getting into a Q&A session. And thank you, participants, for asking such a lot of questions. Probably this is one of the sessions that we got a lot of queries. On the other hand, probably they all understood everything and they didn't ask any questions, which is very good. But here, it's quite technical, so probably want to know more of insight. So I would like to start. The first question is Mr. Tarun Kohli. He's the CEO of TK Advisors. What are the limitations of SaaS-based platform? As
Right.
Raji, I think you are the best person to answer
Right.
that. Please.
So, Tarun, actually, what happens is SaaS-based, the code base is common. So, if there are 100 subscribers, the code base is common for everyone. So, sometimes it may happen that the product, the website might look little boxy or something like a deja vu. You have seen it somewhere else also, because they have common, UI UX. They have common code base, right? So if you want to build something very custom, I wouldn't recommend SaaS for you. Also, another thing is, when you want to act, you can also build custom on SaaS. What happens is that it is extremely costly, because they have other customers, they have a lot of tasks in pipeline. It will go slow and it will be costly for you. So that's where you have to make sure, when you choose your platform, you have to be very sure about what you really want. I hope I was able to answer the question.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, there is another question. What is the future of undergarment e-commerce business? But then we can't specifically answer that, because every product has got its own. So you need to get onto a research, understand that particular market, do a lot of time spent. But everything, the world has got a huge market. But then without doing a specific research, probably you can't get any kind of answer to that today at this session. So we'll go on to the next one. This is Mr. Sharma. He's associate professor in Wakish. This is an associate professor in a college. What strategies that MSMEs need to pay to compete with large as well existing players in the e-commerce market? They're trying to see, I mean, probably is trying to ask the question of how an MSME can match up with large time players in the e-commerce market. Probably, I don't know whether he's got a mind to take on Amazon or Flipkart, but nothing harm in trying that, right? So, Mr. Pradeep, can you answer this?
Sure. So, I think the first and the foremost thing that you need to do is find your niche. Right. Once you have your niche in place, you'll also know how you differentiate your product from the Amazons of the world. For instance, let me couple it with the undergarments question. There was this brand called Clovia. They are into lingerie, and they started in a very so they used to sell combos, low cost lingerie. It was a mix of imports and local manufactured. They found a niche in the market, and recently they got taken over by I think Reliance invested in them, and they have invested a few $1 million in this brand. So once you find your niche, you maneuver yourself into the market, and you'll come to know how you can actually tackle the Amazons and the Flipkarts of the world. Hope that answers the query.
The next question again is from Professor Sharma. He's an associate. Sorry, I couldn't introduce him before. He's an associate professor at the Vageswari College of Engineering, Karnataka. So his question next is again, what are the possible research areas in e-commerce? I mean, it's kind of a very vast question, but probably the answer would be, and research in each and every, just now Mr. Pradeep was saying, every niche you need to do a proper research. You are talking about a research methodology, or you're talking about kind of a research time that's been taken is not very clear. But again, the answer is probably there's no such thing as nothing is impossible or a possibility limitation. But I think research is something which takes huge amount of time. You go on and on until you are satisfied and you come to your conclusion. So, Professor, thank you very much for that question. I would like to get on with Mr. Saurabh Jain. He's a consultant at Omnivio, Bangalore. How does SaaS help in scaling an e-commerce business? What are the key metrics should be tracked while onboarding a SaaS provider? I think Radhika could help you in this.
So actually, SaaS-based programs are built to serve all your requirements. They are more or less, they have all the modules to serve a generic e-commerce aspect, right? So SaaS can actually help you with SEOs. They have modules for reporting, for accounting. So they have almost everything ready. Yes, customization is another thing. The key areas that you need to look forward to is when you are actually you have your objective in place. The first thing you need to see is that is it satisfying all your requirements. So maybe there can be a SaaS module which actually do not support vendors, multi vendors, right? So then that would be a no, and you should not go for that particular SaaS module. But there are others who might be able to provide you with that kind of a service. So when you are selecting a SaaS, one thing is that you need to see whether all the objectives are in place. The other thing is how scalable they are. Are they actually able to, to your dream or your you have planned of achieving, let's say, 1 lakh orders by the end of the month. Are they capable enough, scalable enough to for you to achieve that goal? Right. The another part that you need to look at what kind of a performance and speed they are providing you. So right now nobody is patient enough to wait for a page to load for 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Right. It needs to be quick. Right. So that is one thing that you need to look at. And with that all comes technology. You have to be very sure about what kind of technology they have and what are their future plans, because the code is going to remain the same, and you are somebody who are using that particular code. The code needs to keep updating. It needs to be secure. At the same time, it needs to use all new technology. It has to be upgraded and updated with the so when you're selecting a platform, it has to be for a longer term. So you need to look at that perspective as well.
Thank you, Ms. Radhika, for answering that. The next question is from Mr. Rajan Karakatal, is a executive director at IDSCon Madurai. What is the minimum investment required, needed to align an e-commerce platform to the existing MSMEs? Or probably is asking how do minimum requirement amount to start an e-commerce platform. The last question that he has asked is, can you suggest some good experts in this task? Probably, Mr. Rajan, you are seeing the experts live on today's platform. Definitely, we can share the contact, so you can definitely contact them. Now, the first question, what is required is, what is the minimum investment needed to align an e-commerce platform? Mr. Pradeep, can you throw some light into it?
Well, I think it will depend on what is the kind of product, what is the kind of technology. I mean, if you want to go into WooCommerce, there is an X cost. If you want to go into Shopify or Magento, then your cost goes up probably 8x or 9x. So it's a very subjective thing with some interaction, probably with an expert. Mr. Rajan can probably be able to shortlist on what exactly will be the minimum investment.
Great. Thank you for that. We are getting back to Mr. Tarun Kohli's question. Is from New Delhi. Is e-commerce platform recommended for B2B industrial products or only useful for consumer products?
It is actually very much recommended. Right nowadays, all of these e-commerce platforms comes with all type of interactions or all type of products that you can upload. You can have so I have seen modules where you can allow customers to quote for your products. So these are the kind of things that you need in B2B. So that is available. So it's always recommended to use these platforms. They are for B2B, B2C, any requirement that you have in particular to e-commerce.
Thank you for this beautiful session. Actually, we've been able to answer most of it, but there are last two more. This is from Mr. Vijay Kumar. He is a research engineer at Courage Software Solutions Private Limited, Hyderabad. Are there any standard market research report available on general e-commerce? Anyone who would like to answer that?
There are quite a few reports which are available, and
So it depends on which sector is looking for
Yeah.
also. Like, because we do have a category level, general information definitely it's available, but if he is pertaining to say particular product, so that I mean for those we can't get those kind of information. But yeah, generic for all the categories, it's there, it's available.
Great. Um, so one last question. I think this will be the last question that we are going to take for the session. This is from Mr. Saurabh Jain, again, consultant at Omnivio, Bangalore. Should operations be outsourced or build own capacity, which is better and beneficial? I know outsource has got its own pain. Doing it in-house also got its own pain. But what is more beneficial? Devil in hand or the known or unknown devil?
Actually, depends on what kind of products you have, what quantity of products you have, and what type of orders and what amount of orders you're looking at. So, if you have lakhs and lakhs of product and you do not want to put a lot of money or manpower into processing these orders, rather go for an outsourced one. Or if you have people, you have strength, then why not go ahead with in-house? So it depends on what you are looking at.
Great, thank you. With this, we are concluding today's session. And a big thank you to all our expert speakers who have joined us today's webinar. We will be continuing our webinar every week. Next week is going to be a startup webinar. The startup webinar is going to be on the challenges of business that the startups face today. This is our startup which comes under the Aeonian startup platform. Aeonian is a Greek word mean unstoppable. That's our startup platform. We've been doing this for the last 4 years, and this is the 5th year that we are getting into startup pitch and also awards. And we will be doing a quarterly pitch session for all the startups, which we'll be announcing through our sites and the social media soon. Thank you very much, and we'll keep in touch. With your permission, if you could give your contacts to the attendees today, let this be a great help to them. If you could take that, any of their, queries forward. So we'll also be routing through our any further help through our consulting team. But otherwise, thank you once again, and thank you all the attendees. Hope the session was very useful for you, and keep attending our webinars every week and learn from it, and grow your business. That's all we wish to. And thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you and all our partners. And see you next week. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks a lot,
everyone.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Yeah.